What is up, guys and girls? I am Virtual and I've been away for a little while. Reason being, I managed to pull the muscle on the left side of my neck, which then led to me not being able to sleep for like 2 nights because of pain, which royally fucked my sleeping pattern. So, fun. I have had the most fucked sleeping pattern ever for like the last week or so. I don't even know it got that bad. But alas, someone in the D&D group, more specifically Ven, or at least the person who plays Ven, suggested to me that maybe a behind the scenes on how the table was created might be an idea, because I get, well, he actually said that the table was quite complicated, and I get the feeling that the general consensus is that the table is kind of complicated. So, shrinking away, I'm gonna assume that's enough time. Standard table so far. Now, the more I thought about this while I was planning this out, the more I realised the table seems complicated, but it's really not. Like, it's really not that complicated at all. In fact, I am also going to include links to the workshop stuff that this uses, and they'll be in the description and stuff. Again, provided that I remember. Just that's kind of general with me. But alas, so let's get on to this. First things first, we need to go into my workshop items. I have a whole bunch of shit, and we need to load this one. This is the first part of probably about 5 steps. Like, it's really not that hard. Especially since this kind of already includes a lot of the things that we already have, and as you can see, it takes a little while to load. This the table that we have now is kind of been expanded and improved on continuously, and it now treats my poor little processor more like a frying pan than a processor, but you know, it works. If it works, it works. But yes, this is the table just as is, as it all loads in wonderfully and stuff, bit by bit, you know. Any time this year would be appreciated. It will get there eventually. Hey, there we go. Right, so we are now loaded. Yep, there you go. Loading complete. So this is made by Resmar. And this is the basic layout of the table, pretty much. I mean, obviously ours is a lot more complicated. There's tablets all over the place, and as you've seen, there's also a whole bunch of other stuff, but that's what I'm now getting to. Because from there, this is where the fun stuff starts happening. Because what we're now going to do is we're going to pop into this one, which, again, I will put the link in the description for, but rather than load it, we're not going to additive load it, we're going to expand it. And then we're going to start adding stuff. So, first things first, we're going to take that. Ooh. Excuse me. Excuse me. That's not quite what I intended. 1 second, I'll be right back. Right, so we are back. I am now all reloaded and stuff. So, back to the bollocks and trying not to bugger everything up. So, first thing we want to do is we want to load that in. That creates our floor. So, if I then, I don't know, take this and if I just unlock that, rather than just falling into a void, it actually lands on the floor. So that is a thing. Now, there is actually a couple of other things we want from here. So the first one, we actually want the custom background. This creates the dark background that you see in the video. You know, I find it's much more thematic rather than that deep blue. As much as I like deep blue, I find the black creates a bit more of a thematic kind of feel to the thing. I don't even know what that is. What even is that? Holy shit. That is not a clue. I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is, but I don't include it on my table, so it's not a problem. So just ignore that. So from there, I believe it's this one. I didn't know there were custom boards in this. Huh? There's custom boards in it. Jesus. Okay, that was a bit much. Yeah, because I've got quite right. So this is actually what I use for. If I just grab a couple of these out. This is actually what I use, or something. No, it's not. Okay, so it's not that one, but I do use something similar to this, which is what creates the coins that the players use, so they actually have, you know, actual tangible coins. So, you know, something just a little bit more immersive for them. I don't use that lightsaber. I think, actually, you know what? I think the table in the background is pretty much all we use from this. It does look like the case. Looks like we're just using the table. I didn't realise I was using so little from that one. Huh. See? Even I don't know everything. I fucking created the table. Then again, this was created over, like, several days, so there is that. But yes, I also use this one, which has, you know, just a couple of little buildings and stuff, which is quite nice to add. There is, I also include this one because that pretty much that gives me the ability to build entire villages if I so wish, like proper 3D models and everything. So that's a nice little one to add. I think I'm pretty sure I've got a couple of 3E things on here as well, and there's somewhere like there's little bits like the you'll have seen that there's a little counter that kind of sits around here. Well, not a little counter, it's kind of like a little slip, and has like various times and stuff on it, and it allows me to actually create lighting effects. Now this I believe is actually already in this table, is it not? No, it's not. Okay, so we do actually have that, but ours is much larger, so let's just scale that right the fuck up. There you go. And this is just a nice easy way for me to signify to the players at a glance whether it is night or day. You know, just flip it over, it's night, flip it over, it's day. Simple as. Nice, quick, easy way, and that way all the players have to do is just have a look at that and they instantly know what time of day it is. Well, they know the general end of the time of day. Other than that, you know, it's mostly storytelling and stuff. See, a lot of these things aren't actually named, which that doesn't really help at all. And I have got lots and lots of stuff, including I've got a whole fucking RPG dice collection. It's actually quite a good dice collection. That one I will include because I really do suggest using it, because it's got white dice that have black lettering on them, and then black dice which have white, and then you can change the colours to and fro, but the lettering will stay white or black, which is very nice to mess around with. Now, I think yeah, this is mostly just create stuff. This is a bit late. A bit late making actual proper full 300s, for the round and stuff. But actually build because I parts. Build because I parts. And it's time consuming to say the least. Now I believe I use this one. No, do not. I do use these digital clocks though. Now these are actually a base part of the game. Like these, can you? Okay, you know what? Tell you what, I'll just grab it from the thing. If you go into components and then go into tools, you have digital clocks. And you'll notice that these, I mean, albeit different colour, either end of the table in either corner, and then I have one up here. That keeps track of local time. So you know, it keeps an eye on the time for people, and then you got things like tablets, which you can use for D&D. Well, I say you can use D&D Beyond on it. You can kind of use D&D Beyond on it, sort of. And then obviously you know that you got calculators and stuff. Yeah, usefulness, and also bags. Never underestimate the use of bags. They are immensely handy. Now, the only thing that this table does have, which I actually changed slightly, these bags here, I actually increased their size and I also doubled them up onto this side, so that the players can easily grab a dice if they need to and they can't find, like if they're having a bit of trouble finding it in the mess on kind of this area, they can just grab one from that and just, there you go, nice and easy roll. Again, there's not, here we go, time of the day thing. Right, so this, as you can see, come here you, right, go down there. Right, so if I quickly go over here, give this a bit of a rotate. Right, so I believe this now actually sits here, or roughly around there. And pretty much just at the click of a button, it allows me to change various different light settings, make it darker, can make it lighter, you know, so on and so forth. Just, nice easy way for me to change time. I'm going to set it to 8 o'clock because that generally makes things nice and easy to see. So that's where that one comes from, which again is another one that I have to go and figure out. Game, if you don't mind, cooperate please. Right, yeah, because I did originally use these as well, but it doesn't include Electrum, which is a little bit of a pain in the arse. But alas, although are these the character sheets that I use? I believe they might be. Okay, they actually are. These are actually from a different from, once I find it, this. Once I find it, this. So, this is the one that the characters actually use. So they've got, if I just quickly drag it into existence, these, there's also position helpers. I don't use these position helpers, but I probably should for the enemies and stuff, because they look a bit better than the, markers, so I probably might start using those. But yeah, this is the character sheets that I use for the players, and that's where they keep all their crap. As you can see, pretty much just default D&D layout, nothing special. You click on it, you type it in, off you go, nice and simple. It is worth noting as well that on this table, it doesn't. Now these are supposed to have some weird wackiness that I'm not entirely sure how it works yet, but I'm working on it, getting there. But on this version of the table, they're actually broken. So what you actually need is, you'll notice that I have one that says fixed. So if I go into expand, you'll see that it loads in a duplicate of this. So if all you do is you unlock that, and you put that one in the position that it's in, lock it back down, and line by character sheets that work, if you can work out how they work. I am working on it. Don't really know how they work at the moment, but I know how to enter stuff on them. You need to use this D&D, or the creating character sheet stuff, and dropping stuff in and changing values and hated. Like, it is really quite over the top. What else have we got? Other than that, yeah, there's not actually a whole great deal more that I use. I do occasionally do little bits and pieces out of this. I'll have to figure out where the coins come from, because I have something from the workshop that actually includes like proper coins for both, for copper, silver, gold, electrum, and platinum. Not the correct order, but yeah. And that just, gives them something tangible to have, the kind of how much money they have. Other than that, most of the other stuff that you see around the table is actually just things like these, the better note cards, which you'll notice I usually have a couple over here. I've got general notes and then DM notes and other bits and pieces. This is a handy little thing. If you have a wild mage in your party, and this is basically for DMs. If you're DM and you have a wild mage in your game, do not underestimate this thing. It is fucking amazing. You click on that, change it to DM, you click on 1D100, roll it, and it gives you a number. You don't have to roll the percent R and then the D10. It just straight up gives you a number. It's beautiful. Makes life so much easier. And you'll notice that generally I have like a couple of tablets. The two tablets that sit here are actually basically just these, but more in depth. I've got one that sits over here, which is actually the wild magic table, because Tiona is a wild mage, so I have to deal with that joy. And then that's basically it. That is it for all of the workshop stuff. Here comes the really fun part. So this is the thing that is used. This is how I actually do that. So if you look at the moment, it's just actually, if I get rid of that, it's just kind of like a black red grid thing. If I grab this and shove it on there, it slaps a bit of a thing down for me. It's fucking amazing. I love it. It's like it's beautiful for just being have maps at the ready, and just whoop, in you go. Changes the table, no fucking around, doesn't mess with anything that is already on the table, doesn't cause any weird glitching. It just changes it. It's beautiful. I love it. But there's a quirk behind it, and this is when it comes in, because you'll notice that this table is a bit smaller than the one I use, because I've got two little bits either side, and there's actually two new additions, which one was included in the last session, and there's now another one. There is a kind of table over that I put over here, which is the party loot table. So it's a place where they can stick loot that they find that the whole party can just kind of peruse. Like, there will be people actually carrying this stuff, but you know, it's just a place where they can put it. Everyone can just go over there and have a little peruse and see if there's anything they might want to use, rather than having to, you know, have things passing across the table constantly. It takes out a little bit of chaoticness. But they rate those with a little bit of an ingenious thing. So let's get rid of that. That's not the thing I want either. I actually want components. Right, so those tables are actually, I grab this, and you don't ever actually see the underside of them. It doesn't really matter which one I pick, so I guess we'll just pick that one. We'll load it up to the cloud, why not? And then import, and oh, hey, there you are. Hey, hello, welcome to the thing. Right, so it's a board with a bit with image of, wait, was it papyrus that I something? It's paper. It's a fucking image. There you go. But flip it over, scale it the fuck up, put it over here, let it drop a little bit, lock it into place, go to this handy little move tool, let's get rid of that, and then you click on your little 3D axis thing, and just kind of, I'm just gonna kind of roughly so that it's kind of, ooh, oh god, okay, that's not exactly what I intended, but you know what, this is a good opportunity, because if something like this ever happens, what you can then do is you can go to your rotate tool, grab this red line, and you can bring it back straight, kind of. That is not the straightest. It can be a little fiddly. There we go. Right, and then we'll just kind of move it off to the side. And Bob's your uncle. I've now got a second table. I've got an expanded table. It's literally, that's all they are. They're just flipped over boards. Because the one that I have over here is actually for this. Because, like I was saying, this has a bit of a quirk where what you have to do is you have to unlock fucking, like, everything here. So let's take that, let's also unlock that, and then we just control click all the little bits and pieces. Oh wait, yeah, of course I didn't unlock that, whoopsies. So wait, oh, okay, well, fair enough. That happened, I guess. Well, that makes it a lot easier to move. You know, if that happens, don't worry, because it actually just makes it a little bit easier to move. And then drag this over quickly, because this happened the first time I did it as well. So what's the first thing that's going to come? Oh, okay, we've got skyball samples. That's the thing. Hey, there we go. Right, so we'll let this load in quick. Beautiful, and then we just lock that down, grab the stage, drop it in the middle and lock it, grab the bar keep, over there, lock it down, and then voila, you now have one thing that has just been migrated, essentially. And it's pretty much what you need to do is this needs to actually be outside of the DM's shroud, because otherwise when you do all this funkiness of changing that, it won't actually change it. Well, at least it will change it for you, but it won't change it for your players. So that actually needs to be outside of the DM shroud in order to work. And then obviously, you know, you got things over lighting and stuff. Speaking of which, utilities. I've moved this over as well because this happens, but if you take this little cube out and then you drop it on this little thing over here in case you're wondering what this is, then whoop, you've now got sounds. Beautiful! But as you can see, it expands it quite a bit, which is why I also shoved it over there and stuff, and then left this bit out of the DM shroud, and then I've actually got these two chests inside the DM shroud. Yeah, don't put the little block away if you're using sounds in this because it breaks the script. So, you know, probably leave that out inside the little DM shroud that you can put down. And then literally all it is I've got another one this side, which is actually just for me to, one, create items, because I've been creating custom items for the campaign. And it's also a place where I can sort out kind of dealing with items that they find and stuff. And it's all in its own separate table, so I can deal with finding items and that. But if something else goes on that needs my attention instantly, I can just switch straight back over to this main table, and it's not being interfered with at all. I don't have to worry about cleaning off. It's just ready to go, straight up back on with it. Nice and simple. And then, you know, we've got initiative trackers, and then that's pretty much it. Like, that is basically it. I mean, there are a couple of components that I've moved around. Like, I've actually moved this around. I actually moved this over to this side because it's not usually needed, because there's usually a compass on the map that I use. But, you know, if I do need one, it is there. And then, other than that, I mean, I've got a couple of custom dice and that I use. But, other than that, I use this. I just use these, and it makes life so much easier. Because you can just, and it shows you the number. Also, these ones, it tells you the name of them as well, so, and fair play to the person who made that workshop item, by the way, because they actually typed out the name of a D100, like the actual name of a D100, which is like, wait, that's what D100's called? I was just like, how the fuck do you even pronounce that? And then someone immediately showed me up and actually pronounced it right the first time. I was like, oh, you fucking smart ass. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, other than that, you know, there's a couple little things that I've configured around. Like, I actually have this set at an angle and more center, which just allows me to more easily access it and actually get to the buttons and stuff. Other than that, this table has everything you need. And it's really not all that difficult. It looks a lot more complicated than what it actually is. Like, most of the stuff that's there is just stuff that you'd have on an ordinary real life D&D table, which is pretty much what I kind of used on this. Like, when I was actually putting all these things together, I wanted it to be as close to an actually real life D&D table as humanly possible, whilst also using some of the benefits of the fact that it's virtual. Such as, you know, just being able to swap out map images on the fly without having to fuck around with a whole bunch of shit. But, again, like I said, later on, a bit further down the storyline, once I've gotten a bit more confident with the actually building of, like, putting all the little components down and stuff, I'll actually start building up and making entire scenes. And then they will be being saved to bags. Because the beautiful thing about this is if I just, what can I grab? I tell you what, if we grab, we'll grab a couple of D8s, a D6, a D4, and a D12. And we've already got our map image. And I tell you what, just for good measure, we'll even chuck one of these in. And then if you press this little bag item, packs everything up nice and neat into a bag for you. And then the best bit about this is you can just drop the bag in, give it a few seconds, scene loaded, loads everything into place. Just when you do that, do make sure that if you're using, if you're doing what I do and use the figurines, so these things, we don't care about that, so we'll stick with the placeholder image for now. But yeah, if you're using these things, do make sure that you don't have those on the table when you bag it up, because they will get bagged up with it. And also when you then load it in, make sure you take those off the table and put them at the side over here, because otherwise when you load in the table, anything that loads in the exact position they will get in, that they are in, once their physics load, all hell will break loose. Like, if I tell you what, if I grab this and copy it and then paste it there, tell you what we'll do is if I chuck it there, because I can actually show you this, and then I bag it up, obviously it gets bagged up, and all we're going to do is we want to chuck our figurine pretty much in the same space. Why did you go? Get back in the bag. There we go. And then we just load. Yep, so it kind of just glitches out a little bit, and you know. That was actually pretty tame. With much more complicated stuff, you'd have things that start interacting with other things, and then physics calculations galore happens. It's not good. But alas, like I said, that's it. It seems complicated. It's really not. It's just a couple of little bits and pieces, and it's just kind of been expanded and added to, and had things moved around. And there are things that I haven't included here, like there's a couple of bits and pieces like the coins and stuff that have been added in. I haven't included those because honestly I do not remember at all which one of this myriad of bollocks is responsible for those coins. So there you have it. So that does it for this video, so thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit down the like button, stay awesome as always. And I will see you in the campaign, probably in about 2 days time. Or unless I do another video in between. Either way, it'll be in the next video. Bye!